Okay, 1 3/4, and we're going to look at this and take it through all three phases. All three phases are from the fraction to decimal to percentage. Alright, so on this slide we're going to deal with fraction first. The next slide we have a decimal first, and then the third slide we will do from percentage all the way back through. Okay, so the key here is to realizing we have 1 and a partial, or whole number and a partial. So to make this very basic, we have a benchmark fraction here, fourths. We should know what that is. Okay, I did that so this is an easier transition so you guys can understand it, and then of course you'll see different numbers and such. So to get this process down, convert this into a decimal. You have 1 whole. We know that 1 whole goes on the left side of the decimal. It's in the ones place. We're set. Now we know what 3/4 is from our benchmark fraction, but let's go ahead and do the math anyways. Denominator on the outside of our bracket. Okay, 4 doesn't go into 3, add our 0. 4 goes into 37 times. We get 28. We have 2 left over, so we need to keep going. 4 goes into 25 times, that's 20, we're set. Okay, so our answer is 1.75. Okay, to convert a decimal into a percentage, multiply by 100. Okay, when we do that, we're essentially taking the decimal and moving it 2 spots over, so we get 175%. Okay, let me circle these answers here. I'll block them out, and our fraction is 1 3/4. That's what we started with, right? To check our work, just make sure all of them line up and they look right. Okay, 75 hundredths sounds right. 175% to me is good. Our fraction is 1 3/4. Looks like we're set. On to the decimals. So 2.40. What do we know about this? Okay, well, we have a whole number here, and we have 4/10 or 40 hundredths. So we can put this into a fraction fairly simple. Do I want to change this at all right now? Let's just go straight to the fraction and we'll work from there. So we have 2 whole and 4/10 or 2 whole and 40 hundredths. Okay, whichever way you see it, that's fine. They're the same, they're equal. I'm not going to reduce this part here. Okay, because not yet. I want to make sure I get my percentage first. I have the decimal, I can run it from the decimal, that's fine. Or you can look down here to the 2 and 40 hundredths and realize, wait a minute, a percentage is a number over 100. So we have our percentage there, so that should equal 40%. This part here. So we took care of that part. What is the 2 whole? Remember we talked about 2 being, or sorry, 1 equals 100%. So 2 should equal 200%, right? So take that and look over here at our decimal. If we multiplied our decimal by 100, or moved our decimal 2 spots, we would get 240%. So that checks out. Okay, so let's get back to our fraction here. It was 2 4/10. Let's reduce this down. We're doing one fraction, not decimal. 2 2/5, right? And what do we know about our benchmark fraction to a decimal? 1/5 is 0.2, which means that 2/5 equals 0.4. That checks out. Right? And we have the 2 whole to go in front of it. Alright, big percent here. We have multiple ways to attack this beast. We need a percentage. Sorry, we have our percentage. We need a decimal and a fraction. Okay, so we can do two methods. First method you can do is divide, because you have a percentage, divide by 100 to get your decimal. Move your percentage 2 spots, 17.65, or you can put it over 100 and go with the fraction first. You should be able to get a fraction from this one easy, but as our percentage definition is, percentage is a ratio of this number over 100. Okay, so you can get your fraction either way, right? We can pull 1700s out here, and we'd have 65 left over. Or you can look over here and realize you have 17 wholes and 65 hundredths. Those two are the same. So that means this checks out. Our percentage, we already know. Okay, we reduced this over here pretty good, so we're good to go. Our decimal is set. We need to reduce this fraction. Without trying to find the greatest common, knowing my math facts, I know the greatest common is going to be a 5, but without doing it, if you see a 5 and a 0 at the bottom, pull a 5 out, or 0 and a 0, pull a 5 out, because sometimes even though we don't see the highest greatest common factor or first, then we can pull a factor out that we know of and just keep going from there and see if we have to reduce again. So let's take this 17, move it down here. Let's go with green. Green's good. Okay, and then let's do the math. 65 over 100, let's pull a 5 out, top and bottom. That was supposed to be the orange, but whatever. Okay, knowing my math facts, 12 times 5 is 60, so 65 must be 13, and then 100 is 20. Alright, so let's go pull this back over here. So 17 and 13 20ths. That is not a pretty fraction such as this. For converting into decimal, that's a lot more math that we have to do, but we know how to get a fraction and a decimal out. That's 100. Simple. Do what you need to do.